Hello guys, welcome back on my channel. Today is 21st February and it's time to read about the Hindu newspaper session. So our today's article is all about National Stock Exchange recent found the type of fiasco. Fiasco means here it is written that it was an failure of NSE, National Stock Exchange. So after that, SEBI must reaffirms that it remains focused on protecting small investors. So over the National Stock Exchange, if because there are lots of people who are investing their hard earning money in the stock market. So now SEBI, which is the board which have authority to control all of these things, should must reaffirm, must give an assurance that and uh, use its power to provide the securities to small investors. So let's read this article. The Security and Exchange Board of India, the full form of SEBI is Security and Exchange Board of India, earlier this month passed a significant order relating to the country's largest stock exchange, the National Stock Exchange of India. So there was an order has been passed just this month related to NSE, and NSE, which is the largest stock exchange of India, where India's topmost companies are listed and people do trading over their stocks. As the market regulator, SEBI, which regulates, which controls all of this exchange market, which is an SEBI is an government authority whose primary mandate is to protect the interest of investors in security. And SEBI's 190-page order raises more questions than it resolves. So if we talk about SEBI, SEBI is the main regulator, main authority, which is responsible for protecting the people's interest and investors' interest in which are investing in securities. And after that, SEBI has passed around 190-page order, and which is raising lots of questions. Then it is giving answers. Like in his own report, there is a lots of questions has been raised. In so they have recently represented a report and represented they have given lots of orders regarding to National Stock Exchange, but in that order, in that page, lots of loopholes were there, and there were not so much clarity. So in particular, it spotlights the regulator's tardiness in adjudicating a sensitive matter involving the matter of appointment of a top level NEC official, as well as possible regulatory violation by the then CEO and MD Chitra Ramakrishna in sharing confidential internet with an unknown person. And particularly if we talk about, so recently the spotlights and the highlights is that regulators tardiness, regulators tardiness here means that this regulatory body didn't have any type of information. It was failed to know that here it was a very sensitive matter is now, because the the top level NSE's CEO and the MD of that time, who was involved in, like he was sharing the information, secret information, the confidential in internal information with an unknown person. And so in that matter, SEBI couldn't regulate it, and it didn't verify when she was appointed as the top level. And in all this manner, they are not showing any type of quick response behavior. So here is the word tardiness. It has been very late to find out the process, to start the process in this sensitive matter. So Chitra Ramakrishna, who was the CEO and MD of that time, he shared the information, confidential information, with an unknown person. By SEBI's own admission, the first complaint alleging governance issue in the NEC's April 2013 appointment of Anand Subramaniam as Chief Executive Advisor was received in December 2015. So, if talk about so first time in NECs, eh, this type of issue already have came up when Mr. Anand Subramanian was appointed as CSO's Chief Strategic Advisor for the NAC. So there was a complaint was uh, issued, was filed against him, like there is a lots of governance issue in the around 7 years ago in December 2015. After an exchange of emails on the issue between the regulatory and NSE in 2016, SEBI tasked the change exchange board with determining if there had been violation of norms. So after that, there was an exchange of happened with of emails, like they have coordinated, they have talked with each other over the emails, and then they on the what is the issue between the SEBI and NSE 2016. SEBI tasked the exchange boards with determining if there had been violation of norms. So at that time, SEBI was also involving to find out is there any violation of rules and regulation, because they were exchanging the all of the information over the mails. That's why. Now come back in November 2017, the NSE sent back a report by the board's nomination and remuneration committee which flagged several irregularities pertaining to his appointment, and including his lack of relevant experience and that Ms. Ramakrishna alone had interviewed him. So there was also lots of irregularities, lots of problem was going on, and this type of problem were reported to SEBI. So at that time, SEBI know about that what is going on, and lots of problem was coming in SEBI in 2017 also. NSE have also sent a report where it was about how board's members are nominating and what is, because in cases uh, that person who was appointed the as CSO, Chief Strategy Officer Anand Subramania, he was only he was just alone interviewed by Ms. Ramakrishna, and after that separately but interconnected, SEBI had in the course of its probe into another matter at the NSE stumbled upon in 2018 documentary evidence pointed to Ms. Ramakrishna having been in email communication and sharing sensitive information with an unknown person. And after that, the all the information which have been coming out about sharing the confidential information about it, Mr. Ramakrishna, uh, SEBI had started a probe. Probe means like a inquiry. So they, because at that time there were allegation against her, so SEBI had started to find out the reason behind it, and in 2018 a documentary was also published, and in that it was evidence that Ms. Ramakrishna has been sending confidential information over the mail with an unknown person. The NAC's conclusion, based on finding in a forensic audit by Ernest Young, that this unknown person was none other than Mr. Subramaniam, was sent to SEBI in October 2018. So now, NAC conclusion based on, so most of the conclusion based are so recently Ernest and Young, which have been done an audit of NACs, which audit have been pointed out that Ramakrishna was sharing all of the information with Mr. Subramaniam, uh, in October 2018, and yet it took the regulator a further 40 months to inexplicably conclude that the unknown person actually guiding Ms. Ramakrishna was unlikely to be Mr. Subramaniam, the biggest beneficiary of the guidance, by getting promoted as group operating officer and received annual pay increase that valued his annual compensation to 4.1 crore by April from 1.6 crore in April 2013. But now after that what happened, that the regulatory body, the SEBI, had took around 14 months to know about it, this matter, and make the conclusion, and for the final outcoming that that person is not B. Ramakrishna, was can't be was unlikely to be Ramakrishna. However, who is the biggest beneficiary? Because he was promoted as a group operating officer, and also he has received pay increase from 1.68 crore to 4.2 crore in just 3 years. His pay was raised by 2.5 times. To be sure, SEBI acknowledged that it was hamstrung by the NE's dilatory approach in responding to its missive. So it is sure, like we all know, it is clear that SEBI now acknowledging, SEBI is knowing they are like NSE National Stock Exchange approach is not good, and there are lots of mischiefs happening, lots of bad things are happening there. They're the board of a market infrastructure institution charged, charged with safeguarding the trust of millions of investors. And this board, which the board, like all of the share market is running on, and the board has the responsibility. Now it has been lots of millions of investors which invest their money are now in buried, feeling like they are the whom they should trust, distressingly failed to exercise crucial oversight over the conduct of its CEO part. CB2 hardly covers itself in glory. And it was very hard, like because SEBI couldn't find everything at the time. It took more than 40 months to conclude his probe. Even he is not telling anything about Anand Subramanian. So it is very uh, hard. The regulatory The regulator spills far too much link in almost voracious sharing the content of the email exchange between man and her unknown guide, even as it concludes that it is unable to establish any specific loss caused to investor by the NSE and Ms. Ramakrishna. The onus is now on SEBI to reaffirm that there are no holy cows in its regulatory regime, and that it remains laser focused on protecting small investors. So here it is in this last paragraphs. It is all about that SEBI was very in difficulty to it is like people don't have trust over SEBI because it couldn't provide true direction to people. But uh, almost people are thinking it is clear that those MS Ramakrishna and that unknown guide, even they couldn't harm people's interest, and they couldn't manipulate stock market in the any way. But all of this type of information directly concluding, directly giving, we are directing towards a way that we should now focus, say we should focus on it, and to affirm the investors' trust over the market, over the NSE. That no one is the pure, no one is the holy in all of these matter, because anyone can take any type of decision, and in all this matter only small investor will feel bad, because large investor can manipulate market and they will not suffer a lot. So it was all on this video. I hope you like it.